It's time to build your own blocks. Hence, BYOB stands for Build Your Own Blocks, which of course is now called Snap. So here is something very familiar to you. I have 4 little scripts right here. Each one you should recognize will draw a square. So I'm repeating 4 times, moving 100 steps, turning 90 degrees. Do that 4 times. At the beginning I put the pen down and then I pick the pen up. So I can run this. Draws a square, the size is 100. Let me hit clear. I'll draw another square. Size is 150. Clear again. Draw another one. Size is 80. Programmers are lazy, however, and they don't want to have very similar scripts. I mean, these are all really quite similar, doing slightly different things. So instead of that, I'm going to improve upon that and get rid of most of the code, hence the lazy part. I'm getting rid of a lot of code, and I'm going to use a variable. And you know how to make variables already. I want a script variable, and I'm going to make the script variable called size, and we've done this already before. So this is going to be the size of my square. It's really the length of a side. Again, nothing special about calling it size. I could call it peanut butter and jelly. And I am going to, instead of moving 100 steps, I'm going to move size number of steps. So the other thing, I mean, this is complete as it is. The other thing I really should do is initialize size to something. So let me do that here. I'm going to set size to some value, any value I like. So I could set it to 100. And we can see what happens if I clear. It should draw a square of size 100. It does. If I set size to 40, draws a little square of size 40. You can't see, well, there it is. So let me clear the screen. Now I could make this even a little bit more simplified by making a block. These are all called blocks. We're going to make our own block. A block which will draw a square of any size. So the way you make a block, there's 2 ways to do it. I can click down at the bottom, make a block. I can click that. Or I can just right button click anywhere in the script area, which I'll do. I'm hitting the right button. It says make a block. I'm going to make my own block, which will draw a square. So I'm going to say draw square. And I'm going to put it under, you can select the category that you want to put it under. I guess I'll put it under pen because it's a drawing kind of thing. It doesn't really matter. And it's a command. We'll talk about these other things later on. And for all sprites, that's fine. So it brings me up into this little editor right here. Now I already have something that draws a square. So I'm just going to paste this thing right in here. So this will draw a square of size 40. I'll hit OK. And it's underneath pen, remember? So if I hit draw square, clear the screen, and draw my square. Oh, remember, it's only size 40. Well, there it is behind there. Now I can draw a bigger square. I can edit this and draw a bigger square, size 100. Okay, let's try that. It does draw a bigger square. Now what would be really nice is if I could just pass into this, just like other blocks have a little input area, if I could pass in how big a square I want to draw. So I'm going to edit this. And if I move the mouse over right to the end, you can see it happens, I get a bunch of pluses here. Well, if I go to the end, I see another plus, and I'm going to write some more text. I'm going to say size, and then I'm going to hit plus one more time, and this time I want an input name, and I will call that length in this case. Okay, so let me get rid of this script variable. Let me get rid of this size. I know this seems a little funny, But this is an input. It's just like these little inputs for these other blocks, pen size and so forth. So if I take this input and paste it right into move number of steps, now again, this is just a variable name. I could have called it anything I wanted to, but whatever is passed in becomes the length of my square. It's how far he's going to move. So let's hit OK, and you can see now my draw a square size with a little blank right there. So I'm going to draw a square. Let me clear this. I can now draw a square of size, any size I want. I'm going to do 120. Let's see what that looks like. Draws a square of 120. I can change this if I want. I can make this 100. Draws a square of size 100. So I've built my own block. It works just like every other block. I mean, I can use this. I can connect it to other things, pen down, pen up, whatever I like. It works just like any other block. And again, it's important to realize that this 100, this 100 right here, that 100 that I typed in, let me edit. That 100 is getting passed into this block, and this variable length is getting set to whatever this number is. So length is getting set to 100, and I'm using length in here. So this is another type of variable. It's not really a script variable. It's not really a global variable. It is called a parameter, or sometimes it's called an argument. It's something which is passed into a block. So there you have it. I have made my own block, and I have passed a number, a parameter in, and that is what length is. It's your turn to give it a try. I know this seems a little challenging, but I think you can do it. It's a big concept in programming.